What is up, everybody? I am Kevin Iole, and I don't care if I'm 0 for 2. We are going to move forward right now. June 8th in New York at Madison Square Garden. In the theater at Madison Square Garden, my next guest will be fighting Enrique Vivas as his opponent, Shu Shu Carrington, one of the top prospects in all of boxing. And I guess let's start there, Bruce. Do you consider yourself a prospect at this point?
Nah, I don't consider myself a prospect at this point because I am ranked highly in three sanctioning bodies. That's the IBF, the WBO, and the WBC. So, I mean, I don't know what prospect is ranked in all of those sanctioning bodies. I don't, So, no, that is not me anymore. I'm having my fun. I've won Prospect of the Year from Ring Magazine. So I've accomplished what I've needed to accomplish as a prospect. But now it's time to, fight for them chips.
So now you're a contender. So now you have to win this fight to get yourself into that championship fight. And I saw that you had a few words today, and we are recording this before the 5 versus 5 fight. Just so people know, Raymond Ford is fighting Nick Ball on that card. We'll know the results by the time this comes out. But so I had a few words with Raymond Ford. Is there something going on between you two? Can we see something happening between you guys down the road?
Man, it is what it is. I love to fight anybody that have the straps, and then it all came out from an article that I mentioned that I had with Ring Magazine, and I guess he just didn't like that I mentioned his name as well as along with the other champions that I said I wanted to fight. So people get butthurt, but honestly, I don't really uh have much to say about that situation, to be honest, because that man needs to worry about the wrecking ball that he has in front of him. And I got a fight coming up in June 8th. And when if things come together, in the future down the line, then we could talk some more. But it's just little Twitter fingers. That's all people want to be nowadays. But it is what it is.
Are you one of those guys that likes to kind of, talk crap on Twitter and kind of build fights up that way?
I've never. This is my first ever Twitter interaction like this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really do all that. Like you guys see, like I handle all my business inside the ring. I don't be doing all of that. Just acting tough over the over the keyboard. That's not me. I love to fight, and that's just that. I'm a fighter, bro. Like you got a problem with what I said, come do something about it.
Right. I want to ask you this. I've written several times recently that I think boxing is in a good state in terms of young fighters coming into the sport, right? In that 2020 U.S. class, on the team that you were part of, that team, I think there's a lot of really good talent. A bunch of them are signed to Top Rank, as you are.
Mhm.
A bunch of the other guys, Richard Torres and Keyshawn Davis. I'm trying to think of everybody on there. Duke Reagan. There was a lot of really good fighters. But do you get
So
enthused
I
about the prospects of boxing going forward when you look at the good young fighters coming into the sport now?
Yeah, man. Listen, I was so I was so pleased and happy to even really notice like Top Rank signed all of them guys too. Like I'm like, oh yeah, y'all did a little checkmate move. That was beautiful because I feel like that class of guys, we came up out of the amateurs with such a pro style to where it was just easy for us to just adapt. You know what I mean, and then started just a flow into the pro ranks. Yeah, no, our mentality, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the water we've been drinking or anything like that, but our mentality has just been on some like, yo, we're gonna show why we're the best in the boxing. We're the best of boxing in the boxing game, and we're here to, take the world by storm. All of them are my guys, man. They're all real cool, and I'm super happy with where our careers are headed.
Do you feel like, when you talk about the surge in Americans doing well internationally, do you feel that has anything to do with the amateur rule changes, taking the headgear off and there's things like that? Do you feel like that's making it more pro style? And that seems like where the American fighters for a long time have excelled more than that amateur style.
Yes, 100%, 100%. Once they changed the scoring system to like, something similar to the pros, that's when the Americans definitely started to excel. I feel like, we specialize in actually picking our shots and hurting our opponents and stuff like that. Like not the little tap and run away. We was never those type of fighters. We always wanted to inflict pain on our opponents in the most, precise way possible. And I feel like with the scoring that amateur system has now, yeah, it gives us more of an ability to do that. And I'm super excited to see how these Olympics go as well too, coming up in 2020, 2024 in Paris. Man, it's gonna be great. I really hope that USA does their thing.
Anybody that, you probably have the inside scoop on who's looking good there. Anybody you should tell the public to keep an eye on for in the summer?
Oh yeah, no, there's a few people. There's Jamal Harvey. He's doing well. Jamar Talley, if he qualifies, because they're in Thailand right now, qualifying in the last qualifier. Um, if he qualifies, man, he's gonna be a great guy because he's a guy that knocked a lot of people out. Roscoe Hill, he's fun to watch, very elusive style. Jahida Gonzalez, that's Joyce Gonzalez's sister. She's very exciting to watch. Yeah, man. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of man. There's one more girl. I forget her name. I really forget her name, but like there's gonna be a lot of fighters that's in the 2024 class. That's fun. This is gonna be fun to watch.
I guess if history's any indication, they'll sign with Top Rank, so we'll know who they are then, right?
Right, right, yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
So, I want to start. You're only pro 2.5 years, and you're very close to being ready to fight for a world title. You started on that Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder undercard, and I wonder how much being around that and seeing boxing at the absolute top level at your first pro fight
Yeah.
impacted you and helped you going forward.
It helped me out big time because fighting in an arena like that, T-Mobile Arena on a big stage, it was amazing. But it also helped me not to break down or feel nervous when I do fight on a big stage like that. It helped me out so much, especially even the way how Top Rank moved me. My third fight was in Madison Square Garden Hulu Theater. To consecutively have fights like that, it's like whenever I do fight on a big stage with the big lights, it's not going to be an unfamiliar feeling for me. You know what I mean? I'm going to feel comfortable. I'm going to feel at home, which I already do, to be honest. I kind of embrace that type of pressure. And I feel like I perform best when I'm under the lights like that.
I know you said at one point, you're from Brooklyn, Brownsville in Brooklyn, and I know you were
Yeah.
talking about Zab Judah and,
Yeah.
and Mike Tyson. Of course, who can't mention Mike Tyson when you talk about Brownsville? But I
Right.
was a little disappointed. I have to mention you didn't mention Big Daddy Riddick Bowe. I mean, come on, undefeated heavyweight
Nah.
champion from Brownsville. What happened, Shu Shu?
No, he probably slipped my mind. He probably slipped my mind. But Big Daddy Riddick Bowe, he's definitely one of the greats. He's one of the greats. Man, listen, I can give you the whole list of the second world
Yes,
champions right now. I could give you Mike Tyson, Zab Judah, Big Daddy Riddick Bowe, Shannon Briggs, Edwin Mustafa Muhammad, and Albany Davis. Like I know all of these different guys. Did I say Daniel Jacobs? I don't know if I said Daniel Jacobs.
you didn't mention him yet. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's number seven. That's number seven. So like I know of all the champions that come out of Brownsville, and I plan on being number eight by the year of 2025.
How much, help do any of those guys give you, right? I know, I think of Zab Judah especially, whenever he would walk into a place, he's always yelling Brownsville, Brooklyn, they had that kind of pride, that local pride, right? Do
Yeah.
those guys provide any help? Do they, because you're, a special fighter from that area, do any of those guys reach out to you and give you advice or anything?
100%. I remember I've had some time with Mike Tyson, and he was just like really one-on-one time. I was probably like 13 years old, and he was just telling me like how to bend my legs and get low. And around that time, like he was like getting lower than me when he's trying to demonstrate. And I'm just like, yo, dude, this dude is like crazy athletic.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how he still got it, right? Zach Judah, he definitely is one of like I'll call him like my big bro. Like he's one of them guys that I talk to on a occasional basis. Cool with his dad as well too, and he was always just talking about just being patient with everything, just making sure like every single time I fight, I'm always putting on a great performance, like and have that Brownsville hunger, like every single time, like like exude that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's an energy that a lot of people are not used to, but at the same time they're so attracted to. That's why people were attracted to guys like Zab Judah, Mike Tyson, etc. So yeah, man, things like that he put me on to. But the person I would say that I learned the most from Uh, the person that I say I learned the most from was uh, Daniel Jacobs, because I was
Oh,
actually in the
really?
gym with him more so with him than anyone else. Because I started out in the same gym, Star City Boxing Club. That's the same gym he started out in, and you know, he was one of my favorite amateur boxers coming up. Like him winning the state Golden Glove, national Golden Gloves. Like he was one of my favorite boxers to watch as an amateur, and to look at how he just controls like certain fighters with his hands, and the way he puts his punches together and whatnot, and then his grit, and man, guy outside the ring too is something that he's very charismatic. He's someone that I really looked up to.
You said he was one of your favorite fighters in the amateur. He's one of my favorite fighters as a pro. And I guess the thing that I would say about Daniel Jacobs is that, and that it maybe inspired a lot of younger fighters is that toughness he showed. Here's a guy that, they're telling you have cancer and this is really serious cancer. And he overcame that to come back and win a world title. And I have to imagine for somebody, if you followed him that closely, that had to be inspirational to you.
Oh, 100%. I didn't know. Listen, I did not know if he was going to box ever again. They were saying like the tumor that he had was wrapped around his spine, and they were
Yeah.
saying that he was going to walk again, was going to box again. Man, that mental fortitude to be able to be like, doctor, you're wrong. I'm going to continue to train and work out and get my muscles, back together, and I'm going to box again. Let alone get a world title. Let alone fight Canelo Alvarez and Triple G. It's bro, like it's really a Cinderella story. Like there's a reason. Like he has earned that name, Miracle Man,
Right.
and dude, like that's something that I can't really. That's the biggest thing you could win in life, honestly. Like there's no boxing fight that was tougher than that fight he had to deal with in that hospital, man. And you just got to commend him for that.
When you fight Vivas fighting in New York, I know it's not the Barclays Center, right? That's Brooklyn.
Mhm.
That's home. But you're still in New
It's New
York,
York.
and all your people can come to the show. And the media, and I want to ask you about that because Top Rank does a good job of trying to put people fighting in their hometown and in their media, their local media market. But fighting in New York is a little different than anywhere else, right? Boxing's a
Mhm.
big deal in New York, the biggest media market in the world. Do you feel extra pressure when you fight at home? Is it a little tougher because there's a lot more spotlight and attention on you and a lot more expectation of you than it would be, say, in Las Vegas?
Of course, there's definitely pressure, but one thing I like to say is pressure make diamonds. So I embrace it. I love the pressure, and I love putting on for my fans. I mean, obviously, if you've noticed, every single time I do fight in Madison Square Garden, I get a knockout. So, so yes, I love to perform under the lights. I love to perform under that pressure. I think you get the best showing of Bruce Shu Shu Carrington when I have that pressure. So, those are the things that I really like to do. And man, fighting in New York is always special. Whether if it's Madison Square Garden, Barclays, it is what it is. I just love fighting out there in my hometown because the New York fans already have a different type of energy,
Right.
but Bruce Carrington fans are kind of different.
They rate it up.
We're like, bro, yeah, we turn it up, man. I'll be seeing videos of people already dancing in the crowd before I even step into the ring. Like it's such a cool vibe. It's such a cool thing to see that my people be turning up, but they get real loud and rowdy for me, and I love that. I love each and
That
every
is
part of it, man.
that is awesome. No, I love New York crowds. Always a
Yeah.
lot of fun. I want to ask you a question about Oscar De La Hoya. He seems similar to you in one way. Oscar, one of the great fighters I've seen in my lifetime, right? Won a million championships, just such a talented guy. He was a natural left-hander who fought professionally as a right-hander. And I know some other fighter, and I think his name might be Carrington, who does the same thing. And number one, did you do that for any reason because you knew Oscar did it? And B, like, how does it affect your boxing when the fact that now you got that power hand in the front?
You just gave me a fun fact. I had no idea that Oscar De La Hoya like was left-handed. I had no idea.
Oh yeah.
But like, yeah, I started off I started off fighting righty because my first trainer that I had, he was training me for about 2 years straight at this point. And then one day he just sees me come inside the gym, writing on the sign-in book, and he sees I'm writing my left hand. He's like, "Dude, you're left-handed." I'm like, "Yeah, mind you, I'm like 9 years old at the time." He's like, "Why didn't you tell me? I was trying to fight Southpaw." I'm like, "I'm supposed to know. You're supposed to be teaching me the right way. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, it doesn't really matter because now I produced, knockouts with both hands. Like you see
Yeah.
my left hook and my right
Tora's
hook.
got you out. You got him out with the right hand last fight.
Yeah, yeah, so like either hand, bro. Either hand, you can get it either hand. It's okay. So I plan on sharpening up my southpaw work though, because I'm actually pretty curious how good I will be fighting against a southpaw.
I'll tell you, look at Terrence Crawford, right?
Yeah,
How good he is because he does it both ways. Well, let's
yeah.
wrap up with this. Just talk about the Vivas fight if you can, I know he's a tough guy. You're favored to win the fight, though. What do you expect from him, and what do you want to prove in this fight?
Man, I just what I expect from him is just that nonstop pressure. Him to try to break me down, him trying to break my will. But to be honest, man, I want to prove that I'm just classes above these guys. Like I really am the real deal. And I don't blow smoke. I don't just say things just for fun. I tell it how it is. And I'm gonna produce everything that I'm saying come June 8th, man. I really feel like when it's time for me to show out, everybody's gonna like understand like Bruce Shu Shu Carrington is the one that's gonna take over the world of boxing, not just the featherweight division, the world of boxing. It's the Shu Shu ever, man, and it's time to have some fun.
And I guess there's going to be some Shu Shu Ricans there on Saturday, right?
Definitely, definitely, of course, man. Of course. I'm super excited, Puerto Rican Day weekend. I've been getting a lot of love from my Latin fans, a lot recently, especially with this fight coming up. And I got something special for y'all. I'm gonna put on a great show for y'all. And yeah, man, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be really cool.
That is one of the best prospects in the world, Bruce Carrington. Obviously, a fun guy to listen to, but even more fun guy to watch fight. You can see him on ESPN on June 8th. Best of luck, Shu Shu. Appreciate your time, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate you for having me.